Fears are growing over a possible exodus into Egypt as nearly 2 million people in southern Gaza are experiencing hunger, thirst, just complete chaos. In Rafah, a refugee camp has been established, creating a so-called tent city. The Israel-Hamas war driving humanitarian aid to the brink of collapse, with millions finding it impossible to find shelter or food. Cairo has warned it will not allow Gazans to come over, fearing they will not go back. Here with us now is Munson, Senior Fellow at the National Security Institute. Lester, it's always great to see you. So there are a lot of dynamics to consider when it comes to Egypt potentially taking in refugees. Security concerns are, of course, paramount. One of the major concerns is that once Gazans come over, as we outlined, they won't go back. Another, though, is that militants may escape from Gaza into Egypt, and then Israel could retaliate with strikes inside Egypt. However, with so many Egyptians sympathetic to the Palestinian cause, how do leaders walk that fine line of expressing empathy, but also keeping Egypt safe?
It's a great question. One of the real risks, frankly, that I think Egypt is worried about is Hamas agents coming into Egypt and disrupting Egyptian politics and Egyptian society directly. Let's remember there's a military government in Egypt right now that replaced an Islamic fundamentalist government. The current regime in Cairo very much interested in making sure that does not revert to the old ways. So one of the reasons they're against opening this border with Gaza is because of their own internal situation. It is a very fraught situation, as you said, quite complex. There's a number of humanitarian concerns for sure. And as your earlier report was highlighting, it's very important that Israel eliminate the terrorist infrastructure that is in Gaza that allows these attacks to happen, like the one that did on October 7th. So there's a lot going on here, a lot of regional politics, which are very important, almost all related to security issues.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. And, you know, according to the UN, Lester, 85% of Gaza's 2.3 million people, they've been internally displaced. There are now concerns over resources running out, as you know, diseases spreading, the list goes on. So when you look at it geographically, and we had some maps up, these people in Gaza, they were told to move south, and they're now boxed in between Egypt, Israel, and the Mediterranean Sea. What do you see as a viable next step for them?
Well, there is ongoing diplomacy with Egypt. It is not inconceivable that there's some sort of compromise here. I suspect the Biden administration is very much pressuring the Egyptians to allow some flexibility here. Israel is probably happy to see that pressure being put on Egypt. But at the end of the day, this is a very difficult situation. There are no good alternatives. There are only alternatives that are less bad than the others. So I expect this is for the next several weeks, we're going to continue to see this challenge, this very real humanitarian challenge that there is in Gaza.
So whether those who have been displaced stay where they are now or at some point they move elsewhere, the Gaza Strip itself has experienced massive destruction, and we've seen those images. How long do you see this conflict continuing, and what happens, in your view, Lester, after this war?
I suspect the intense fighting is going to last for another 2 to 6 weeks. Hopefully, it's closer to 2 weeks than 6. Israel has very real goals it needs to achieve here: the destruction of the tunnels, finding all of the weapons and eliminating them, finding as many Hamas fighters as they can, frankly, eliminating the Hamas leadership. They've achieved some of those goals along the way, but there's still a lot of work for Israel to do here. At the same time, the international community and NGOs, these are non-governmental organizations that provide aid, are working very hard to make sure that the civilian damage is as limited as possible. That work goes on. Israel is under some pressure from the international community, I'm putting it mildly, to be very moderate in its approach to Hamas. There were calls for a ceasefire at the United Nations. That will likely continue. So I expect this to be a very fraught situation for the next several weeks. After this is resolved, there is a big question about who is going to govern Gaza. The U.S. Has a view that it should possibly include the Palestinian Authority from the West Bank. Israel is very skeptical of that. The Arab community in the Middle East will be consulted as well. So that is something that is a question for more long-term diplomacy. I'm not sure we're going to see a real answer to that for a while.
All right. Well, we will stay tuned. Lester Munson.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.